Now here as black, the tactic that would be most effective is the X-ray. Take a look at both of white's bishops. Neither one is defended. Bringing a rook over to e8 X-rays both bishops that are doubled on the E file. This is the correct capture, since the rook threatens to capture either the bishop on e3 or the bishop on e2. Black has the initiative and white is forced to defend. Now the plan is to keep the attack going. Bishop e3 is directly under fire. And a bishop on e2 is indirectly under fire. Now, if bishop on e3 were to move, then the bishop on e2 falls. We bring another attacker in. This is called attackers versus defenders. We're mounting up as much pressure as we can against one of our opponent's pieces, and when you do that, it puts him into defensive mode. Now white just played the king to f2 to help defend the bishop. When there are pieces still on the board, the king is a terrible defender and should be kept out of danger. This position, knight g4 check, hits both the king and the bishop on e3.
I just got a new coat still. Okay.
It is important for you to record your games so that when you play back through them, you'll be able to spot any tactics that you may have missed. And the way to do that is to look at every piece on both sides and see where they are placed. Now in this position, there are 4 pieces that you need to look at. The rook on e2, the knight on c2, white's rook on d1, and king on g1, and finally the pawn on g2. Pause the video and guess the move that black should make in this position. The move to make here is rook takes g2 check. Now, there are 2 possibilities playable moves that white can make, and that's king to h1 or just to simply recapture the rook. We're going to take a look at king to h1 first. Now of course I could take the pawn on h2, but we want to look for other possibilities. When you're doing a calculation process, you look for 3 types of moves. And all 3 of them are forcing moves. You look for threats, checks, and captures. Those are the 3 types of forcing moves that you look for during the calculation process. Here, instead of taking the pawn on h2, We bring the other rook into play. Now we have a battery. Rook f3. This move gains tempo on the rook. Now what we want to do, we want to get our knight and bishop into place. Remove the rook. Rook takes rook, pawn takes rook, the knight springs into action. We're threatening checkmate. Rook h2 check and mate. The king is going to take the rook, and ask yourself, what happens if the king recaptures? King takes g2. Look at the knight on c2. Bam. Fork the king and rook. After king f3, knight takes d1, and the game goes on. Check. We simply want to go for a king hunt, trying to checkmate the king. We're going to look at 3 moves. The first one is king to h2. So king goes to h2. And what happens here is we win the rook on c1. Back. King to h4. Still loses. Check. Now notice how the knight attacks g3. The other knight attacks g4. And the king can't go to g5 because of the pawn on h6. So the only move that white has is king to h5, and g6 is checkmate. Alright, taking it back. Rook e1. The rook tries to threaten the knight on e3. But white is in Zugzwang. Knight f5 check. The king tries to escape. Do you see the mate? It's a mate in 2 moves. Pause the video if you have to. The move to make here is knight to f3 check. Boom. Forks both the king and the rook. And not only that, but if you look at the bishop now checks the king as well. d6 square. So this double check, not only is it double check because of this knight and this bishop both check the king, but it's also a discovered check because the knight moved. Wow. King h1, and finally knight g3 is checkmate.